In Nashville, love stories can be as dramatic as the songs themselves. Behind the glittering stage lights and chart topping hits, many country queens lived romances that shocked the industry, split fans, and even changed careers forever. From scandalous affairs to heartbreaking betrayals, these women carried secrets that shook Music City to its core. Today, we uncover the untold stories of 12 country queens whose romances left Nashville stunned. Tammy Wynette, the turbulent queen of heartbreak. Tammy Wynette, forever remembered as the first lady of country music, built her career on heart-wrenching ballads about love, loss, and longing. Songs like Stand By Your Man made her a cultural icon, but her personal life was even more dramatic than the lyrics she sang. Rising from poverty in Mississippi to become one of Nashville's brightest stars, Wynette embodied resilience and vulnerability at the same time. Yet behind the rhinestones and chart toppers, her romantic life became a storm that fascinated and scandalized Nashville. Her most infamous chapter unfolded with fellow country legend George Jones. When Tammy and George first came together in the late 1960s, their chemistry was undeniable. Nashville hailed them as the ultimate power couple, a union of two voices that seemed destined for eternity. Together, they recorded duets that captured both tenderness and raw emotion, cementing their place in country music history. But as quickly as the romance captivated fans, it also spiraled into chaos. Jones's battles with alcoholism collided with Tammy's fragile health and fiery temperament. Their arguments, separations, and reconciliations became front-page news, turning their marriage into a public roller coaster. The turbulence was not confined to whispers. It spilled into the spotlight. Stories of Jones riding a lawnmower to the liquor store or disappearing for days at a time added fuel to the scandal. Nashville's tight-knit community could not look away, and neither could the press. While Tammy tried to hold on to the image of loyalty that her music preached, the cracks in their marriage exposed painful contradictions. For fans, the couple's very public implosion felt like watching a tragic ballad come alive. The end of their marriage did not stop the headlines. Even after their divorce, Tammy and George occasionally reunited on stage, their voices blending with a haunting poignancy that reminded audiences of what once was. Their love story, equal parts devotion and destruction, remains one of the most shocking romances in Nashville's history. It blurred the lines between art and reality, leaving fans torn between admiration and sorrow. Tammy Wynette's legacy continues to be defined not only by her groundbreaking music, but also by the tumultuous romance that mirrored her songs of heartbreak. To this day, her story stands as a testament to how love, when tangled with fame and demons, can both elevate and unravel even the brightest star. Loretta Lynn, Love, Loyalty, and Lifelong Struggles. Loretta Lynn, the coal miner's daughter, was the voice of working-class women who faced hard realities with grit and determination. Rising from rural poverty in Kentucky, she became one of the most influential country singers of all time. Her songs gave voice to women's frustrations, joys, and resilience. But much of that power came from her own complicated marriage to Oliver Doolittle Lynn, a relationship that Nashville could never stop whispering about. Loretta married Doolittle at just 15 years old, beginning a partnership that lasted nearly 5 decades. To the outside world, it seemed like a love story of humble roots transformed by fame and fortune. But behind the curtains, their union was riddled with infidelity, alcohol abuse, and heated conflicts. Loretta herself admitted that her husband was far from perfect, often unfaithful and quick-tempered. Yet, she also confessed that she could never stop loving him, no matter how many times he broke her heart. What shocked Nashville was Loretta's willingness to put her private struggles into the public sphere through her music. Songs like Don't Come Home A-Drinkin' with Lovin' on Your Mind and Fist City were not just catchy tunes, they were raw reflections of her turbulent marriage. Fans quickly realized that Loretta was singing her life, giving them an unfiltered look at the messiness of love and loyalty. In an era when women were expected to stay silent about such matters, her honesty was both scandalous and groundbreaking. The marriage became a paradox. Doolittle was both Loretta's greatest supporter and her greatest tormentor. He pushed her to pursue music when she doubted herself, yet his betrayals haunted her for decades. Their volatile relationship shocked even seasoned insiders in Nashville. But Loretta stood firm, insisting that her marriage, though flawed, was real, enduring, and worth fighting for. Her unflinching devotion to Doolittle, despite everything, baffled critics but endeared her to fans who saw in her the embodiment of unconditional love. When Doolittle died in 1996, Loretta was devastated, describing him as the love of her life, despite the pain he caused. Their romance left Nashville stunned, not because it was picture perfect, but because it was brutally real. It was a love story filled with betrayal, forgiveness, and resilience, the kind of tale that could only belong to a woman strong enough to turn her scars into songs. Loretta Lynn's life proved that even queens of country are not spared the battles of the heart. Her romance, shocking in its contradictions, gave her music authenticity and changed the way women's voices were heard in country music forever. Dolly Parton, the queen of secrets and speculation. Dolly Parton, the dazzling queen of rhinestones and wit, has always balanced her career on a tightrope between openness and mystery. While she has shared stories of her humble Appalachian roots and her rise to stardom with remarkable candor, when it comes to her romantic life, Dolly has left Nashville perpetually buzzing with speculation. For decades, her marriage to the elusive Carl Dean and the persistent rumors of secret romances shocked and fascinated both fans and insiders alike. Dolly met Carl Dean in 1964, before her career exploded, and they married 2 years later. Yet, unlike most country power couples, the world has rarely seen them together. Carl, a private businessman uninterested in the spotlight, has shunned the public eye, leading to endless gossip that Dolly's marriage was more myth than reality. For Nashville, where every relationship is dissected and displayed, this secrecy was both baffling and suspicious. The more Dolly insisted her marriage was real, the more the rumors grew. Adding fuel to the fire were whispers of Dolly's close relationships with her collaborators and friends, particularly Judy Ogle, her longtime assistant. Tabloids seized on their bond, spinning tales of a hidden romance. Dolly herself has laughed off the speculation, neither confirming nor fully denying it, saying only that her marriage to Carl has always been unconventional. For a city that thrives on drama, this ambiguity was enough to shock Nashville again and again. But Dolly was not entirely immune to romantic confessions. In the 1980s, she admitted to having an emotional affair that nearly drove her to despair, even hinting at a suicide attempt during her darkest days. This revelation stunned fans who had always seen her as a beacon of joy and resilience. Nashville suddenly realized that beneath the glittering wigs and playful humor was a woman grappling with the same messy heartaches her songs often described. Yet, unlike many country queens whose romances ended in heartbreak and scandal, Dolly managed to turn secrecy into power. By refusing to let the public define her love life, she preserved her mystique while keeping her marriage intact for nearly 6 decades. Nashville was shocked not by infidelity or betrayal, but by Dolly's ability to rewrite the rules of fame and privacy in a world that rarely allowed either. Dolly Parton's romance story is not one of open chaos, but of quiet rebellion against expectation. Her secrecy has fueled decades of gossip, making her one of the most mysterious figures in country music history. In the end, Dolly's shocking love life was not about what she revealed, but what she never allowed anyone to truly know. June Carter Cash, a love that defied the rules. June Carter Cash, born into the legendary Carter family, grew up surrounded by the traditions of country and gospel music. Known for her quick wit, powerful stage presence, and sharp songwriting, she became an icon in her own right. But it was her whirlwind romance with Johnny Cash that cemented her place in Nashville's most unforgettable love stories. Their union, while celebrated, was also one of the most shocking and controversial romances to ever rock Music City. When June and Johnny first met backstage at the Grand Ole Opry in the late 1950s, both were married to other people. Their chemistry, however, was undeniable. On stage, they sang as though they were already bound by destiny, sparking whispers across Nashville. By the early 1960s, Johnny's spiraling addictions to drugs and alcohol turned his personal life into a storm. And June, often at his side, was accused of being both his savior and the reason his first marriage collapsed. The rumors of their affair, long before they officially wed, scandalized the conservative circles of country music. Despite the disapproval, June stood by Johnny as he battled his demons. She helped him survive overdoses, arrests, and career lows, earning admiration from some and scorn from others. Their relationship was turbulent, filled with fights, reconciliations, and fiery passion. Nashville gossiped endlessly. Was June a saint for saving Johnny's life, or was she complicit in fueling his chaos? The scandal only grew when Johnny proposed to June on stage in 1968 in front of a stunned audience, an audacious move that made headlines around the world. Once married, the couple became a powerhouse duo, recording gospel and country hits that highlighted their undeniable bond. Songs like Jackson and If I Were a Carpenter showcased their playful intimacy, while their joint tours often blurred the line between performance and real life. But even marriage did not quiet the whispers. Johnny's relapses into addiction and their explosive arguments kept their love story at the center of Nashville's rumor mill. Yet through the turmoil, their romance endured. June's devotion was unwavering, and Johnny often credited her with saving both his life and soul. When June died in 2003, Johnny followed just 4 months later, as if unable to live without her. Their story shocked Nashville because it broke every rule of propriety, adultery, addiction, and public scandal, but ultimately transformed into one of country music's most enduring legends. June Carter Cash's romance with Johnny was shocking not just for its chaos, but for its defiance. In a world that demanded perfection, she embraced imperfection. Together, they proved that even the messiest love could become immortal. Reba McEntire, the queen who faced heartbreak in the spotlight. Reba McEntire, often hailed as the queen of country, has built her career on powerhouse vocals and an unmatched ability to connect with audiences through authentic storytelling. But behind her glamorous career and fiery personality, her romantic life shocked Nashville in ways that revealed both vulnerability and resilience. Few could have predicted that the woman who seemed to have it all would face a very public heartbreak that shook even the toughest corners of Music City. Reba's first marriage to steer wrestler Charlie Battles already turned heads in Nashville. Married in 1976, their relationship was marked by Reba's growing ambition and Charlie's struggle to accept life in the shadow of a rising superstar. As her career soared in the 1980s, Reba pushed harder toward fame, while Charlie longed for a quieter life. The imbalance was clear, and when the marriage ended in 1987, Nashville buzzed with the scandal that even Reba couldn't stand by her man. It was a shocking contrast to the image her early music projected. But it was her second marriage that truly stunned the industry. In 1989, Reba wed her manager, Narvel Blackstock, and together they built an empire. Narvel wasn't just her husband, he was her business partner, guiding her through chart-topping hits, television roles, and sold-out tours. To many, their relationship seemed unshakable, the perfect blend of love and professional synergy. For over 26 years, they were one of Nashville's most admired power couples. That image shattered in 2015 when Reba and Narvel announced their divorce. The news blindsided fans and insiders alike because there had been little public hint of trouble. Nashville's rumor mill erupted, speculating about what went wrong. Some whispered about Narvel's controlling influence, while others pointed to the challenges of mixing business with marriage. For Reba, who had built her brand on strength and stability, the end of her marriage was a public earthquake. What made the split even more shocking was Narvel's quick move into a new relationship, reportedly with one of Reba's close friends. Though Reba carried herself with grace, Nashville couldn't stop talking about the betrayal and its impact on one of the genre's most respected women. Her heartbreak became front-page news, showing that even country royalty wasn't immune to personal devastation. Despite the pain, Reba transformed her loss into resilience. She spoke candidly about her struggles, admitting the divorce wasn't her idea, but she leaned on her faith, family, and fans to rebuild her life. Her candor shocked Nashville, not because it revealed weakness, but because it showed a queen rising from heartbreak stronger than ever. Reba McEntire's romances shocked Nashville by proving that even the most powerful women in country music can be brought to their knees by love, but also that they can rise again. Shania Twain, Betrayal, that rocked the country pop queen. Shania Twain, the crossover superstar who redefined country music in the 1990s, seemed to live a fairy tale life. With her groundbreaking album, Come On Over, selling more than 40 million copies worldwide, she became not only Nashville's darling, but also an international icon. Her marriage to producer Robert "Mutt" Lange was often portrayed as a perfect partnership, two creative forces blending love and artistry to dominate the charts. Yet, behind the glamour, a shocking betrayal unraveled that fairy tale and left Nashville reeling. Shania and Mutt's union began in 1993, a match that seemed destined for success. Lange, known for producing rock legends like AC/DC and Def Leppard, recognized Shania's potential and helped craft her into a global sensation. Together, they co-wrote and produced hits like You're Still the One and That Don't Impress Me Much, songs that celebrated love, empowerment, and individuality. To the public, they were a power couple who had it all: fame, fortune, and an unbreakable bond. That image shattered in 2008 when it was revealed that Mutt had been having an affair with Shania's close friend and personal assistant, Miranda Lambert. The betrayal was double-edged. Not only did Shania lose her husband, but she also lost a trusted confidant. Nashville buzzed with disbelief, as the scandal was far more than tabloid fodder. It was the fall of one of country music's most admired marriages. The news dominated headlines, with fans stunned that the woman who sang about enduring love had been blindsided by such a personal and public humiliation. The heartbreak took a heavy toll. Shania withdrew from the spotlight, her voice faltering due to stress-induced dysphonia, and rumors swirled that her career might never recover. For years, she remained absent from the industry that once celebrated her as its queen, fueling speculation that the betrayal had permanently broken her spirit. Nashville insiders whispered about the tragedy of a superstar silenced by love's cruelest twist. Yet out of the wreckage came an unexpected twist that shocked the industry again. In a story stranger than fiction, Shania eventually found love with Frédéric Thiebaud, the ex-husband of Marianne. Two people betrayed by the same affair came together, finding healing in each other's arms. Their marriage in 2011 was not only a personal triumph, but also a narrative of resilience that Nashville couldn't stop talking about. Shania Twain's romance saga shocked Nashville because it exposed the fragility behind fame. Her betrayal and comeback reminded the world that even the most glamorous queen can fall victim to heartbreak, but also that she can rise again, stronger, with a story as unforgettable as her songs. Faith Hill, a fairy tale love story, under fire. Faith Hill, with her golden voice and graceful stage presence, quickly rose to become one of the most admired figures in country music during the 1990s. Known for her string of chart-topping hits and crossover success, she appeared to embody elegance, talent, and stability. But what truly kept Nashville buzzing was not just her career, it was her romance with fellow superstar Tim McGraw. Their love story, while often celebrated as country music's greatest fairy tale, was also marked by rumors and controversies that shocked Music City. When Faith and Tim first crossed paths in 1996 on the Spontaneous Combustion Tour, both were already in serious relationships. Faith was engaged to record producer Scott Hendricks, and Tim was coming off high-profile romances. Yet the chemistry between them was undeniable. By the end of that tour, Faith had broken off her engagement, and she and Tim married later that same year. Nashville erupted with chatter. Was this whirlwind romance an impulsive scandal, or the beginning of a legendary love story? Their marriage blossomed in the public eye, producing 3 daughters and countless duets that made them the ultimate country power couple. Songs like It's Your Love and I Need You weren't just hits. They were intimate glimpses into a marriage fans envied. But the brighter their spotlight, the more scrutiny they faced. Tabloids often speculated about affairs, marital troubles, and even impending divorces. Every absence from the stage or moment spent apart fueled another round of rumors. The most shocking whispers came during the height of their fame in the 2000s, when gossip magazines suggested that Tim's past struggles with alcohol and partying were straining their marriage. Faith, always poised, publicly defended their union, but privately admitted that it wasn't always easy. The idea that Nashville's perfect couple might be flawed both shocked and intrigued fans. For a city built on stories of heartbreak, the possibility that Faith and Tim's marriage could falter was irresistible. Yet, despite the relentless speculation, the couple persevered. Instead of collapsing under the pressure, they doubled down on their love story, touring together, releasing joint albums, and showing a united front. What shocked Nashville most was not just the scandal of their early romance or the rumors that followed, it was their ability to weather it all and remain one of country music's most enduring couples. Faith Hill's romance saga stands out because it blurred the line between scandal and stability. What began as a whirlwind that shocked Nashville matured into a love story that has lasted decades. It proved that even in a city obsessed with gossip, sometimes the most shocking thing of all is when love survives. LeAnn Rimes, the affair that redefined her career. LeAnn Rimes was once Nashville's golden girl, a prodigy who burst onto the scene at just 13 years old with Blue. With her powerhouse vocals and angelic image, she was hailed as the future of country music. But by her late 20s, her personal life took a turn that would shock not only Nashville, but also the wider entertainment world. Her scandalous romance with actor Eddie Cibrian became one of the most talked about affairs in modern country history, forever altering her reputation. At the time, LeAnn was married to backup dancer Dean Sharamet, and Eddie Cibrian was married to reality TV personality Brandi Glanville. Their paths crossed in 2009 while filming the Lifetime movie Northern Lights. What began as on-screen chemistry soon turned into off-screen passion. When tabloids revealed the affair, Nashville was stunned. LeAnn, who had once been the picture of innocence, suddenly became the center of one of the decade's biggest scandals. The fallout was immediate and brutal. Both LeAnn and Eddie denied the rumors at first, but as evidence mounted, they were forced to admit the truth. Nashville insiders whispered about her betrayal of her husband and the damage to her wholesome image. Fans who had once adored her as a teen sensation now turned away, branding her as a homewrecker. The scandal overshadowed her music, with headlines about her personal life eclipsing any new songs she released. The controversy didn't stop there. The messy divorce between Eddie and Brandi played out in public, with Brandi's sharp words against LeAnn fueling media frenzy. Twitter wars, tell-all books, and constant paparazzi coverage kept the scandal alive for years. For Nashville, which often values tradition and family loyalty, the drama surrounding LeAnn was a shocking reminder of how quickly an artist's career could be derailed by personal choices. Despite the backlash, LeAnn and Eddie eventually married in 2011. Their relationship, though still under scrutiny, became a test of endurance against the odds. LeAnn spoke openly about her mistakes, admitting her affair was wrong, but also claiming she had found her true love. Slowly, she began to rebuild her image, focusing on her artistry and using her experiences to fuel more personal songwriting. What made LeAnn Rimes' romance so shocking to Nashville was not just the affair itself, but how dramatically it clashed with her public persona. She had been country music's angel, and in one explosive moment, she became its most controversial figure. Her story remains a cautionary tale of how passion, secrecy, and betrayal can redefine even the brightest careers. Carrie Underwood, from public romances to lasting love. Carrie Underwood, crowned America's sweetheart after winning American Idol in 2005, quickly became one of country music's most successful and beloved stars. With her powerful voice, wholesome image, and chart-topping hits like Before He Cheats and Jesus Take the Wheel, she seemed untouchable. Yet even Carrie's romantic life was not free from scrutiny. Before finding lasting love with hockey star Mike Fisher, her early romances and the intense media spotlight surrounding them shocked Nashville and challenged her carefully cultivated image. In her early years of fame, Carrie was linked to several high-profile men, each relationship igniting speculation. Her brief romance with fellow American Idol alum Anthony Fedorov fueled fan excitement, but quickly fizzled. Later, her relationship with Dallas Cowboys quarterback Tony Romo drew even more attention. Their pairing, blending country royalty with sports celebrity, seemed destined for headlines. When the relationship ended abruptly, the gossip mill churned with rumors about the reasons, from clashing schedules to personality differences. Another romance that shocked fans was her brief involvement with actor Chase Crawford, star of Gossip Girl. The media frenzy around their relationship was overwhelming, painting Carrie as a rising superstar caught between the worlds of Nashville, Hollywood, and professional sports. Each breakup was dissected, with tabloids quick to suggest that Carrie's career drive might be sabotaging her love life. Nashville insiders whispered, could America's newest country queen really find happiness, or was fame destined to keep her alone? But the real shock came when Carrie's story took a turn toward permanence. In 2008, she met Canadian hockey player Mike Fisher, and the romance blossomed quickly. Their courtship, filled with long-distance travel and high-profile appearances, culminated in a lavish 2010 wedding. Nashville initially treated the marriage with skepticism, wary that another celebrity pairing might crumble under the spotlight. But as years passed, Carrie and Mike proved the critics wrong, building a family and projecting stability rarely seen among country's brightest stars. Even so, their relationship has not been without its struggles. Carrie has spoken openly about her painful experiences with multiple miscarriages, a revelation that shocked Nashville, not because of scandal, but because of her vulnerability. For a star so often seen as perfect, this honesty humanized her and endeared her even more to fans. It showed that even the most glamorous lives are touched by heartbreak. Carrie Underwood's romantic journey shocked Nashville, not with scandalous betrayals or public breakdowns, but with the stark contrast between early, fleeting romances and the enduring partnership she eventually built. Her story proved that even in an industry obsessed with drama, sometimes the most surprising love story is one that survives. Miranda Lambert, heartbreak in headlines in Nashville. Miranda Lambert has never been one to shy away from raw emotion. With songs like Kerosene and The House That Built Me, she earned a reputation as one of country music's most fiery and fearless voices. But her romantic life has at times overshadowed even her artistry. From her high-profile marriage to Blake Shelton to the whirlwind love story that followed, Miranda's romances shocked Nashville and became some of the most publicized sagas in modern country music. Miranda and Blake Shelton first met in 2005 while performing together. At the time, Blake was still married, and their chemistry raised eyebrows immediately. By 2011, the two had married in a glamorous ceremony that united two of country's hottest stars. To fans, they were a dream couple, blending Blake's humor with Miranda's grit. But as the years went on, cracks began to show. Rumors of jealousy, creative differences, and infidelity swirled through Nashville. The couple fought hard to maintain their image, but insiders whispered that their fiery personalities clashed as often as they harmonized. In 2015, the bombshell dropped. Miranda and Blake announced their divorce after just 4 years of marriage. The news stunned Nashville. Fans who had rooted for them were blindsided, and speculation about who was to blame dominated tabloids. Blake quickly moved on with pop star Gwen Stefani, fueling even more gossip. Nashville buzzed with theories that Miranda had been betrayed, while others suggested her independent streak had made compromise impossible. Either way, the end of country's golden couple was one of the most shocking splits in years. Miranda's love life remained under scrutiny after the divorce. She was linked to several men, including singer Anderson East and musician Evan Felker. Her relationship with Felker, which overlapped with his marriage, sparked scandal and brought more headlines than her music at the time. Nashville insiders debated whether Miranda was sabotaging her own reputation or simply refusing to play by anyone's rules but her own. Then came another twist no one saw coming. In 2019, Miranda revealed she had secretly married Brendan McLaughlin, a New York City police officer she had met just 3 months earlier. The sudden wedding shocked fans and critics alike. For some, it was proof of her impulsive nature. For others, it was a bold declaration that Miranda would live and love on her own terms, no matter what Nashville thought. Miranda Lambert's romances shocked Nashville not only because of their drama, but because she consistently defied expectations. She refused to hide her heartbreak, turning it into hit songs that resonated with millions. Her story is proof that even when love brings chaos, a true country queen can transform pain into power. Kacey Musgraves, a modern queen's broken fairy tale. Kacey Musgraves, celebrated for her sharp lyrics and genre-bending style, carved her place in country music by challenging traditions. With albums like Golden Hour and Same Trailer, Different Park, she redefined what it meant to be a modern country queen. Yet, while her artistry was applauded, her personal life became a headline-grabbing story of romance and heartbreak that shocked Nashville for its abrupt rise and equally sudden collapse. In 2016, Kacey married singer-songwriter Ruston Kelly, a fellow artist whose poetic style seemed to complement hers perfectly. Their romance was painted as a meeting of kindred spirits, with fans dubbing them Nashville's new artistic power couple. When Golden Hour was released in 2018, Kacey openly credited her love for Ruston as the inspiration behind its luminous themes of joy and devotion. The album went on to win the Grammy for Album of the Year, and audiences saw their relationship as nothing short of a fairy tale. But the glow didn't last. In 2020, just 2 years after her career-defining success, Kacey and Ruston announced their divorce. The news shocked Nashville because it seemed to unravel the very foundation of her most celebrated work. How could the queen who had sung about transcendent love now face such a sudden ending? Fans and critics alike were left reeling, with speculation about whether fame, creative differences, or personal struggles had driven them apart. What made the split even more surprising was the dignified way the couple handled it. In a joint statement, they expressed deep respect for each other and insisted that their love had simply changed. Unlike the explosive scandals often associated with country divorces, Kacey's heartbreak was quieter, almost poetic, which only added to the intrigue. Nashville buzzed with discussions about whether such honesty was refreshing or simply baffling in a world accustomed to dramatic feuds. Kacey, true to her artistry, channeled her pain into music. Her 2021 album Star-Crossed was a raw, cinematic exploration of divorce and healing, filled with vulnerability and defiance. Critics hailed it as bold and brutally honest, while Nashville audiences were stunned by the stark contrast between the bliss of Golden Hour and the heartbreak of its successor. For many, Kacey's willingness to put her failed marriage on display through her art was as shocking as the divorce itself. Her story proved that even in the modern era, when fame offers endless possibilities, love remains fragile. Kacey Musgraves' broken fairy tale shocked Nashville because it mirrored the very themes she had built her career on: truth, vulnerability, and a refusal to sugarcoat life's messiest moments. Wanda Jackson, the scandalous queen of rockabilly and country. Long before the polished world of modern country queens, Wanda Jackson blazed a trail that shocked Nashville and beyond. Dubbed the Queen of Rockabilly, Wanda straddled the line between country and rock in the 1950s and 1960s, captivating audiences with her fiery vocals, bold stage presence, and unapologetic attitude. But it wasn't just her music that made headlines. It was her romantic entanglements, particularly her rumored relationship with Elvis Presley, that scandalized the country establishment and left Nashville buzzing. Wanda and Elvis first met in 1955 when she toured with him as her career was beginning to rise. The two quickly developed a close bond, and though Wanda has always been careful in her wording, she later admitted that their connection went beyond friendship. The idea of a good country girl being romantically linked to the rebellious king of rock and roll was almost unthinkable in Nashville at the time. For an industry deeply protective of its wholesome image, Wanda's rumored romance with Elvis felt like a betrayal of tradition. While the relationship eventually fizzled, the damage and the fascination was already done. Wanda leaned into a style and persona that blurred lines between genres and cultural expectations, often wearing glamorous, body-hugging dresses that stood in stark contrast to the conservative image of women in country music. Insiders whispered that her time with Elvis had corrupted her, pushing her toward a bolder, more rebellious identity. Nashville's old guard bristled at her refusal to conform, while fans, particularly young women, admired her daring independence. Her romantic life continued to fuel speculation, but it was the Elvis chapter that stuck hardest, creating a legend as much as a scandal. To many, Wanda's career trajectory seemed inseparable from that early romance. Some credited Elvis with inspiring her to embrace her unique voice, while others criticized her for stepping outside the traditional boundaries of country femininity. Either way, Nashville was left stunned by a queen who refused to play by the rules of love or music. Wanda Jackson's romances, especially her link to Elvis, shocked Nashville because they symbolized a cultural clash between the conservatism of country and the rebellious energy of rock. By living unapologetically and embracing the gossip rather than hiding from it, she carved out her own place in history. In the end, Wanda proved that a country queen could shock not just with her love life, but with the fearless way she turned scandal into legacy.